This is Alan Stang. Stick around. Yesterday, as you will recall, we took a look at the communist lie that communism is made by poor people who are down and out. We saw that communism is always imposed from the top down by wealthy monopolists who want total power, and that communism is simply the smokescreen they use to divert attention from what they are doing. We took a look at Armand Hammer, son of Julius Hammer, a founder of the Communist Party in the United States. We saw that Armand has made millions by advancing communism. Still another dramatic example of the help given the communists by our ruling establishment comes out of Warsaw in communist Poland. On September 8th in that city, the General Motors Corporation announced that it will soon begin to build a large factory in eastern Poland, which will manufacture trucks. The New York Times describes the General Motors decision as follows, quote, "Polish labor is cheap, the government here in Poland is strong and stable, and communist nations have an excellent record of adhering strictly to business agreements, Western businessmen say," end quote. No doubt Polish labor is cheap, but why? One big reason certainly is the fact that Polish laborers work under the guns of the Soviet secret police. But according to General Motors, this is an advantage. The Polish government is strong and stable because it is a totalitarian dictatorship, which the Polish people have tried to kick out more than once. But to General Motors, this is apparently also another advantage. And if communist nations have such an excellent record of adhering to business agreements, why must our government persuade American companies to invest in those countries by promising to pay them with your tax dollars when the communists default? The fact is that from the beginning, the communist credit rating has been zero. As Armand Hammer's friend Lenin is supposed to have said, quote, "Promises are like pie crusts, made to be broken," end quote. Isn't it also interesting to note that while General Motors is announcing plans to manufacture trucks in Poland, American auto workers in Detroit are still suffering from the deliberately disastrous effects of the machinations of the millionaire totalitarian socialist conspirators who rule us. Government-inspired inflation, the Environmental Protection Agency, and similar things have destroyed the jobs of many of our own workers. It will be interesting to see whether Leonard Woodcock, boss of the United Auto Workers, now launches a vigorous, effective attack on the General Motors plans. Forgive your reporter for being somewhat dubious, but Woodcock's predecessor, Walter Reuther, was trained by communists in Soviet Russia, where Reuther wrote a famous letter which urged the recipient to, quote, "carry on the fight for a Soviet America," end quote. And Leonard Woodcock himself is a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, which was founded by a Marxist for Marxist purposes and is now run by David Rockefeller, the chairman of the billion-dollar Chase Manhattan Bank. In short, Woodcock is part of the establishment. I'll be back in a minute. Perhaps more important than anything else is the fact that the trucks General Motors plans to make in Poland would be vital military equipment in time of war. For instance, Poland actively supplied the Viet Cong in the recent war in Vietnam. Indeed, it is important to remember that a tank is basically an automotive product. Tanks are made in converted truck factories. In effect, GM is helping to strengthen the Soviet military machine. This is Alan Stang. Think about it.
The Alan Stang Report is produced by the John Birch Society Features.